Another very lovely evening out there to all of you, my dearest friends. Welcome back. We left off in chapter 21, speaking of the whomever is hanged upon a tree is cursed. Now we pick up in chapter 22, mainly dealing with that of kindness, purity, various laws regarding, towards the end, that of sexual immorality, laws against these things. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not near unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring unto thine own house. You'll bring it unto your house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. Now you may think, well, that's a great kindness not to steal from your brother or your neighbor, even if you will, a friend. But in Exodus 23, 4 and 5, this is put even more strongly, where it reads, If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Verse 3, In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost thing of thy brothers, which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. I like Benson's comment regarding this ordinance. A woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, that is, ordinarily or unnecessarily. For in some cases this may be lawful as to make an escape for one's life. Now this is forbidden for decency's sake, that men might not confound those sexes which God hath distinguished. For instance, I remember years ago, whenever I was in logging, there was a woman that was known about all the loggers, and she was the best of all of us loggers. Ran circles around us, could drop trees, and 10 trees to our 5. I mean, it was absolutely incredible how quick that this woman was, but she couldn't do that in a dress. So she would wear, coveralls, jeans, things of that nature. And I'm also very aware that this was spoken back at the time before the Israelites were about to cross over into the Jordan, Moses delivering his last message unto them. I'm aware that this was some 3,500 years ago, but I do believe that this is still a very good ordinance for society to keep in place. As we know, it's problematic today. But now we move on from that topic and on to the next, and this is actually a very lovely one, and it shows God's character regarding that of even animals. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee, in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam or the hen sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the hen with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the hen go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. Jameson Fawcett Brown noted, this is a beautiful instance of the humanizing spirit of the Mosaic Law, and checking a tendency to wanton destructiveness, and encouraging a spirit of kind and compassionate tenderness to the tiniest creatures. But there was wisdom as well as humanity in the precept. Israel is, as a land itself, even to this day, situated in a climate which produced poisonous snakes and scorpions, and the deserts and mountains would have been overrun with them, as well as immense swarms of flies, locusts, mice, and vermin of various kinds, if the birds which fed upon them were extirpated. So now that topic's dealt with. Now we come to the next. Verse 8, When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement, or a fence, for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. This is much more about purity, keeping things simple, keeping them plain and easy and ordered. Verse 10, Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. If you'll notice how God, he desires that even in the outward appearance and their livelihoods, how these people are to be different from all nations, are to be pure, away, set apart from all nations. Be ye perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, Jesus said. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, spread rumors about her and such, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid or a virgin. So these rumors that this young man starts to spread about his young wife, they bring up this controversy. He says, no, I don't wish to be married to her anymore. She wasn't a virgin. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. Now what the father and the mother would have brought forth would have been that in which the mother primarily would have been the one to examine this. We'll come to that right here in a second. But it would have been the bed sheets showing proof that she was a virgin. Ocular proof and evidence of the truth of what the father said by having spread before them the sheet stained with the blood of her virginity upon her husband's first congress with her. So once that this is done, the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, once again a virgin. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. Here's the proof. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. And you have to, Mary in the New Testament, the mother of Christ, she probably had to deal with certain people believing that this was likened unto her. This could completely ostracize you from your countrymen. These rumors follow you for the remainder of your days. So this is actually a very serious issue. So her husband would be pretty harshly chastised for this. And they shall amerce him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. So this payment is to be rendered over to her father, because this was a reproach to his family and to himself, as such misconduct of his daughter would have been ascribed to his neglect of properly instructing or watching over her. But now this man is no longer allowed to divorce this woman, and this would have been a very rough start for her as well in a new marriage, because now there's this immediate animosity between the two a little bit, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort in order to kind of soothe this. And so he was disappointed, this young man. He was disappointed in his view of getting rid of her and obliged to retain her as his wife, though hated, though he didn't even like her. Now he must stay married, and was not suffered to divorce her as long as he lived, which was permitted. This divorce would have been permitted and connived at in other men, and which he might have done before without bringing such a charge against her. But because he tried to ruin her name along with this, now he's stuck with her. And sadly, she with him. Verse 20, but if this thing be true, that she wasn't a virgin, and that she was really sleeping around before she was ever married, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from you. In other words, not allow such a promiscuous woman among you in the camp. Now, the guy before her, you all may be saying, well, now he got a relatively light punishment, but he is not the one found with such a horrid iniquity. Her crime, if found out, his crime was just being an idiot, being someone whom was trying to spread rumors about her, and he's whipped, chastised, forced to pay quite a bit of a payment to the father. He's punished, I believe, rather justly, but hers is that of being a harlot of sorts. Because even while she was living with her father, she was going about philandering, if you will. And sadly, to our society today, casual sex is not seen as a big deal whatsoever. I know this from years back whenever I was an atheist. It was never a big deal. It was actually something sought after. But so many hearts are turned away from God and from the right path whenever women like this are introduced into the lives of young men especially. So now that topic's dealt with. Now we move on to another. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, cheating, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away the evil from Israel. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. Now this situation being referred to is very similar to the previous in that this is still fornication, adultery even. Then ye shall bring them both out of the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, she didn't holler out rape or anything, so it's believed that this was a consensual agreement. Otherwise, why not cry out for help? Surely someone would have probably been around. Being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, away from the gates and away from the populace, and the man force her or rape her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So we're told about how all rapists are put to death, kidnappers are put to death, promiscuous women are put to death. None of these things allowed. They're to be just as pure as earthly possible. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, a single young virgin woman, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. Now this isn't saying that she resisted. This is just saying premarital sex. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Back in the days of old, if you have premarital sex and it's consensual, then marry. Get together and marry one another, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. Now the closing topic is dealing with the matter of incest. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. His father's skirt. In essence, the skirt of the mother's garment. In essence, the nakedness, which is here called his father's skirt, because his father and mother were one flesh, or because his father alone had the right to uncover it.